How many of you grew up scared of the dark? Or of ghosts that might come to haunt you? I know I sure did. And a lot of that stemmed from the holiday Halloween. Many people associate the Hispanic holiday, Day of the Dead, also known as Dia de los Muertos, with Halloween. Although these two holidays are really nothing alike. They're pretty much the opposite in the way that you celebrate. Dia de los Muertos, being of Hispanic heritage, is a time to celebrate loved ones who have passed. As you can see, I have a Dia de los Muertos tattoo on my arm. It is a very big part of who I am, and my dad is from Mexico. So, with that, he brought a lot of culture and love of his culture with him, and it was very much so a part of my childhood. It's important to understand that, unlike Halloween, Dia de los Muertos is a time to celebrate death and to celebrate the ones who have passed and to remember them. Although they both deal with death, there seems to be such a darkness about Halloween that Dia de los Muertos has nothing to do with. And when you look at the history of Dia de los Muertos, it goes back thousands and thousands of years. And looking at the Catholic calendar, November 1st and 2nd is when it's celebrated, and they are titled as All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. Today, it's more of a mix-up of prehistoric religious rites and Christian feasts. So one of the main things that is done on Dia de los Muertos is setting up altars, also known as ofrendas. They put incense or small toys if they are remembering a child who has passed. They also prepare a feast for them because, as we all know, when you travel, you get hungry. So, as our family members are traveling back to see us, they get hungry too. Another big part of it is candles that they lay out, as well as a photo of that family member who has passed, if they have it. Lastly, marigold petals. Marigold petals are a huge part of their rituals and their belief system. Those flowers are placed in between the gravesite and the altar, and it's almost a way to show our loved ones who have passed a path between the two so that they're able to find the altar and then return back to their resting place. I think of it as if when you're on a hike and you don't want to get lost and you want to make it back safely, you can mark X's on a tree, break branches, do something to essentially make sure that you find your way back to the right path. When we take a look at the symbology behind Dia de los Muertos, a big part of it are skulls, or calaveras. Originally, calaveras were known as a short poem or story that poked fun at the living, something that the dead would say about us, the living per se. And the famous phrase that goes along with that is "Somos todos calaveras." And translated, it means we are all skeletons. And it's a reminder that death is a neutralizing force. It doesn't matter whether you're old, young, tall, short, male, female. It doesn't matter what your religious point is, what your societal point is. One day, everyone's going to pass one way or another. And it's something that they believe should be celebrated and not feared. Another ritual that they believe heavily in and is very important to them is cleaning the headstones and the surrounding area, being sure to leave those marigold flowers, though. It's very, very important. Another big ritual is what is called the Katrina Parade. And the sugar skull dolls were originally created almost in likeness of her. So many of the women do the full face makeup, full outfits to match what a Katrina doll would look like. It's also a time of sharing stories. The deceased would rather not be remembered somberly, but cheerfully. Dia de los Muertos is a beautiful time of the year to celebrate life and death, to understand that the cycle is something natural and to be respected and remembered for the living and the dead. The tattoo on my arm is a constant reminder of the beauty that encompasses this special holiday, and I hope that this inspires you to remember those that you've lost in a beautiful and different light.